We cannot hear you.
He also... Wait, does he? Oh, yeah, he's got headphones.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, this is my webcam.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
We can tell.
Let me try my Yeti. Hold on.
Nope. Sign in still doesn't work. It just bounced me back. So that's fun.
Yeah, my app is just spinning.
Yeah, lovely.
Yeah.
The tweet just says Android Police Live.
Oh, there we go. The muted button on my microphone was blinking. That should have been a clue.
Yeah. Oh wait, my Nest is logged in, sort of.
I got the 2-factor notification, and then it just sent me back to the portal.
Well, my front door camera isn't loading, but other stuff is working.
Okay, I guess we're ready to get started then.
Yes.
Oh man, is that really all the news that's going on this week's show? Okay.
It's pretty thick list.
Yeah, I guess so. Okay.
A lot happened.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Android Police Podcast. We're here on November 15th, and I'm David Reddick.
I'm Ryan Whitwam.
I'm Cody Toombs.
And I'm Corbin Davenport.
And I feel like nobody's here. Only 4 people on a podcast.
I know. It's we're gonna actually be able to speak without stepping on each other.
No, we'll try. We'll make it happen.
Well, I mean, we're not good at this, so I mean, I'm sure it'll happen at least some, but less.
Yeah,
we have been exceedingly mediocre at it for probably going on 6 years now.
Yeah. Wait, this is episode 299, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So next week will be the 300th episode of the show.
Oh, we should. No, it's probably not worth celebrating.
I mean, I feel like we should do something.
We have to. Look, I'm gonna get some party hats from Walmart, and someone else can join me if they want.
All right.
I remember for podcast 100, we all got drunk. Well,
yes, we did.
I mean, some of us got really drunk.
Some of us did, and some of us are named Cameron.
Yeah.
Wasn't that the night Cameron was testing that breathalyzer, the smart breathalyzer?
Oh, yeah.
So drunk, he was like vomiting violently the whole night.
Oh, jeez.
He was drinking
not on the podcast.
Poor Cam.
Oh yeah, that was fun. I think he swore never to drink any hard liquor again after that. So, speaking of things that make you want to throw up, let's talk about TouchWiz.
Good transition.
Oh, you mean the One UI?
Yes,
Samsung will sue you if you don't call it the One UI.
I'd like to. Well, maybe they can. So One UI is rolling out to the Galaxy S9 and S9 Plus in beta, which is a thing. So if you are on is it for all carriers in the US? Is it a thing?
I don't think it's all carriers, is it? I imagine Verizon letting people do this.
T-Mobile, I thought, but I'm not sure. Yeah, sorry, it says phones in the US, so maybe unlocked phones. Verizon, no. Oh wait, no, I said version.
Oh yeah, I'm sure the unlocked they'll let you do that.
The screenshots don't have a carrier in the status bar, unfortunately. That's the one instance where that would have been useful.
Damn it, AT&T.
Well, if you look at the LTE icon, you can sometimes tell. I think that looks like a T-Mobile 4G.
Well, Mosh said he got it, didn't he? And I think he's in the US in the VIP.
It's definitely hitting in the US. I know T-Mobile was in last year's beta, so I would presume that T-Mobile is the carrier partner, and then probably unlocked phones.
Yeah, but I mean, it's going to still be months before any appreciable number of people are running this.
When did the beta hit last year for Oreo?
I think it was November.
Okay.
Yeah.
It felt, I thought it was like January or something.
No, I think it was November. Yeah.
Well, I guess it's a little easier this time around because the S9 shipped with Oreo, so they can use that.
Yeah, it has treble, I guess. I mean, supposedly, so far the uptake of Pi has not been better than Oreo. Yeah. So
not a very big piece of the pie.
No, even though Google did say that more devices have Pi now than had Oreo at this point last year. But
Did they say how many more?
No.
Is it like 5 more? 5 more phones?
3 more. They sold 3 more Pixels.
I believe that. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So-
it's still not. Pi still hasn't hit the dashboard graph, so it's not. Isn't the threshold 0.3?
Hasn't hit the
0.1.
0.1.
Google hasn't updated the dashboard graph in like 2 months.
Yeah, they have been really bad about that.
No, it
lately.
was October. Hold on.
No, that was a false alarm. They didn't actually update it.
There was one they did like out of cycle. It was like at the end of the month. But I think that was I think that's been like 6 weeks maybe.
I wrote one a while ago. So unless I'm going crazy, I think it was. Hold on. Gonna do a search for Pi graph.
You know, it's not that the dashboard is like the most important thing in the world.
Yeah, it was October 28th.
It seems so simple for them to keep that updated.
Yeah, you would think. Okay, so that was the one that happened like out of cycle. It was the end. Was it the end of October?
Yeah, It was October 28th.
Okay.
And I think this was sitting in BC for like 2 days, so that might have.
Anyway, So yeah, Pi's still on the chart. But speaking of Pi on the Galaxy S9, there's one standout feature. So we talked about last week the UI changes, dark theme, just kind of the general move toward bottom-centric navigation, which are all, I think, good things. But something that people will probably be happy to know is that it looks like that Samsung is adding adoptable micro SD storage in Pi update, which is interesting. It's not clear why they didn't have it in the first place, and it's not clear why they're having it now. So
it is kind of weird for them to put that on like flagship phones that they're coming with like at least 64 gigs of storage.
Yeah, this would have been really helpful like 3 years ago, but now we're getting phones that have like 128 gigs of storage.
Like the Note 9, starts at 128. I don't know. Like, what do you really need to add like more system storage to that?
Yeah. Now, the one thing that would be nice is that if this is just part of all of Samsung's devices that are getting Pi, obviously this would be very beneficial for the budget phones that Samsung makes because they make a lot of those. But yeah, it does seem weird that they've ignored it for so long and now they're doing it. It would be like if Apple today made a MacBook with a Blu-ray drive. That's what this feels like.
Yeah, it is a little weird. Oh, you know what else is weird though is that in Pi, they're only going to let you run a free theme for 14 days. That's pretty goddamn weird.
That's a bizarre story. So I'm still trying to wrap my head around this.
It's so weird. And they're telling people now, like if you open the theme store on your phone, they're like telling you like months in advance that they're gonna.
Oh, Brian just cut out real hard for me. But I will continue this thought. They're telling you that if you use a free theme, you need to change it after 14 days, or they're going to change it back to the default theme for you, which is
they'll bug you several times too and offer you alternative themes, which I'm sure will cost money.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like I can't believe that they're. I'm trying to understand. Like, is this just like something where Samsung's like they're looking at the cost of running the business and like we're losing the bottom line on the theme store?
Yeah, that's the difference between the red and the black for Samsung is those damn themes.
I think probably they are looking at it that way. They're probably saying this isn't making us any damn money. We're having to host all of these, all this data, and do all these downloads and stuff, and it's costing us X amount of dollars a quarter to do this. How do we get this back in the black? And the answer to them is probably force people to buy themes, which is a horrible idea.
Someone pointed out in the comments that you can get these themes from the Play Store.
Yes, I believe you can.
I mean, I don't think they're like in this. I don't think they have the same kind of access as if you download them from the Samsung store. Can you? Do they?
I think they do. I think they show up as like selectable, but I don't think that will get past the 14-day limit. I think they're still applied through the Samsung Themes Store app.
Oh, okay. So they're part of the selector.
Yeah, I think so. It's just like downloading wallpapers. They appear in the wallpaper selector, I assume.
Yeah.
Like live wallpapers. So I think I know that. So I think these are fairly popular, and Samsung's created probably something of a monster with the theme store. All of the themes, by the way, are atrocious.
Oh, they are. Well, there are a couple that are just like, here's like an AMOLED black theme. Everything is black and white. Like, fine, if you want.
Or like occasional like Google Material themes,
Yeah.
and those are whatever.
Yeah, but like most of them are like, here, we've made all of your icons look like clocks.
Oh yeah, they're real bad. Like the skeuomorphism and like textures and stuff. It's like
give me that
level.
Give me
It's
that.
like,
Give me that iOS 6 look, please.
Yeah, it's like all of your system apps now have grass in the background. they're like lawns. The
Where's my
buttons are
wood
like,
grain theme?
yeah, you've got
It's
three
so
choices:
bad.
grass, brass, or glass.
Yeah, but I mean,
one is really common for some reason. It's terrible.
I wonder though, like, I wonder if they're going to actually get away with this. Because I mean, people are going to be very annoyed. But they like, people won't even like, they don't open the theme store for like however long, and then they get the Pi update and they're like, hey, why are my themes going away? What are all these notifications about buying themes? This is stupid. I already bought the phone.
It does seem a little silly that you'd have to buy the themes on the phone that you're already paying like $14 a month installment plans on.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. I think Samsung is going to get a lot of negative customer feedback about this. I'm not sure who okayed this or why.
Yeah, I mean, it feels very like slapdash. Like the notification when it pops up, it like the wording is so weird, and like it obviously was not translated well from the original Korean.
Yeah, I don't really. This is so going to cause Samsung grief with people. I don't understand why they would go through the pain. It would be easier just to discontinue the theme store, but this seems like super passive aggressive. Like, hey, pay somebody money, or we're gonna break your shit. Like,
Yes. This is like a protection racket. Is what it is.
It really is.
I wonder if somebody else is actually in charge of the theme store. Maybe there was some sort of arrangement and some other companies like outsourced to do this, and maybe they're now on the hook to make some money, or Samsung stopped paying them as much, so this is their one and only real out.
Like, what is it, like Jay's garbage collection and Samsung Clearinghouse? Like,
they hired one of the people that used to make iOS themes, Winterboard. Remember Winterboard?
I don't.
Oh man, I made Winterboard themes for my iPhone 3G. That was so much fun.
Was this something jailbreaking?
Yeah. This was like iOS 3 days. iOS
I mean,
2.
I think that's probably the last time I like owned an iPhone, but I don't recall that specific thing. I remember like jailbreaking was a thing back then, but like there wasn't something that I really did.
There was it was an app on the Cydia store called Winterboard. I think it was a fork of something else, but it was really popular, and you could make themes for it and install them. And that was fun. That was amusing. I probably still have some of those theme files around here, like in the deep depths of my Google Drive. But yeah, that was fun.
But you were like 10.
Yeah, I was. I was.
I never had an iPhone in jailbreaking, the jailbreaking age. So like my modding was all on Android.
I mean, that was back when you could jailbreak by visiting a web page in Safari and loading a corrupted PDF.
Yeah. Yeah, there was that period of time where you could walk into an Apple store and jailbreak all their phones.
I never did that, but I'm sure that'd be a lot of fun. The employees are like, why does this Cydia app keep popping up on our phones?
Speaking of, I don't know. This is the time of
things you pay for.
Yeah,
things you pay for.
Yeah,
or don't pay for. Actually, if you're an Amazon Prime subscriber and you are not using your free Twitch Prime subscription, or if you don't know what that is and you're an Amazon Prime subscriber, you're definitely not using it. You can subscribe to the Android Please podcast on Twitch. It doesn't cost you any money. You get one free Twitch subscription per month as part of your Prime membership. That's a lot of P's. And you can use that subscription to support our show. It doesn't cost you anything. If you re-up 30 days after, it helps us because your subscription expires after 30 days. So if you subscribe again, it's a really big help to us. It helps monetarily support the show. And again, it doesn't cost you anything if you're an Amazon Prime subscriber and you're not using that subscription. So please do so. We really appreciate it. And thanks to Curdy D91 who just subscribed.
Yeah. Yes, and if you subscribed, watch the feed because you will see a notch appear
it
with
showed
your
up
name on it. Yeah.
And we will actually like shout out that you subscribed, which is cool.
Yeah.
If you subscribe and you're not like listening live, just email us podcast@androidpolice.com and we'll give you a shout out on the next show. That's something I just came up with. We should do
Oh
that.
boy, you've really committed us to something now.
Emails. Ugh, somebody has to keep track of it.
Well,
if only we had a document.
It's better than the other reasons people would email us.
Yeah. And you can come up with like a really funny name to say you subscribed. Like, I don't know, it could be something really clever and slightly dirty. I'll still say it. As long as it doesn't break like the Twitch TOS for content.
I mean, as long as it's like, as long as we can pronounce it. If it's hard to pronounce, though, we can't make any promises.
Yeah.
As long as your name isn't Ryan takes his shirt off, I think we're definitely okay.
Speaking of Ryan, though, when you subscribe, you do get a Ryan emoji for use in the chat room, which is more fun than it sounds like.
And speaking of things you can't unsee, Night Sight is rolling out to all Pixel phones, which is a great new feature. So all 3 generations of Pixel phones are getting it. And if you get like the latest version of Google Camera app, you can get on APK Mirror if you want, but it seems to be rolling out to everybody on the Play Store at this point. And enables Night Sight. And Night Sight is pretty good.
Yeah, it is like computational photography to the nth degree. It's crazy.
Yeah.
This is
They definitely didn't ask if they should. They just asked if they could.
This is definitely dark magic. I don't know how this is
really
possible.
Yeah, I mean, you can take a photo that would be like dim and not great and just like whatever. Like on a lot of phones just wouldn't even be able to extract something useful from that image. But Pixel phones would do okay. But if you turn on Night Sight, it's like daytime. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is. It's really crazy. It's like what Samsung's phones try to do, except actually good.
Yeah, it takes I don't know, like 2 seconds maybe, I guess, to do the capture because it's taking like a lot of frames and stacking them and doing like computer magic on them. So like if what you're trying to take a picture of is moving, it's probably going to be blurry. Google has this part of their algorithm is like filtering out like movement and just using the frames that are in focus, but like that'll only do so much. But I mean, still, it's impressive nonetheless.
Yeah. So actually, Google has a really great blog post up on all of this on the Google blog, and I think there's one on the Google AI blog. The AI blog one is more in depth, and you should read that one. It's actually very interesting. And so they talk about some of the basic challenges they had to overcome, like motion, white balance. The white balance bit is crazy because the white balance, so you can't meter white balance in these super dark scenes accurately. It's just you don't have the data. It's not possible. And so what Google's done instead is taken like a huge superset of images shot by Pixel phones and on Google Photos and decided on average what a night scene should look like in terms of white balance. And it applies it based on, basically what the camera sees. Like this is some pretty next level stuff. And it's all, it's totally proprietary.
Yeah.
But it'd be hard for anybody else to emulate this. It's because Google's dealing with this data set and comes up with this algorithm on that basis. And nobody else has that data.
Yeah, and I mean, this. Go ahead.
Okay, I was just gonna say, and while it's processing your image, it'll detect what kind of animal is in it.
It will. It'll also detect that animal's name, its owner, and that animal's favorite treat.
Yeah, and it'll show you the collar it's wearing on Amazon. You can go order it.
Yeah, that's a lens tie-in. So basically, the Pixel camera now is limited only by the autofocus. They said that below 0.3 lux in a scene like that, that level of brightness, that's where the autofocus stops working. So like that's like where you have to make a change in the app. It has actually a near and far focus. So even below that, you can still use this as long as you set the focus. It's just at that point, the phone can't be trusted to actually, find what you're trying to take a picture of.
But you can manually focus in those scenarios if you want to. So you can enable the manual focus. I think it comes up as a suggestion if it's unable to get.
I know when I was playing around with it, I had to actually press the focus button. It was it's up at the top and it's not super obvious what it is at first, but
yeah. So you can do that. The other thing is if you are really serious about doing some night photography with your phone to the point that you carry like a monopod with you, the night shot mode can actually detect if it's on a tripod because it's obviously using the gyro in the phone to do the electronic and optical image stabilization. So basically, if you're on a tripod, the phone will take more captures in more rapid succession and use it for much more effective denoising and sharpening. So you'll get a much sharper image. I had a comparison of that on the Google AI blog as well, and like it makes a difference. And the other thing is, if you want your regular shots on your phone to get the extra sharpening and denoising that super res zoom shots get, turn on night sight during the day and hold your phone real still, and it will increase the sharpness of your images apparently and denoise them more. So you can use it during the daytime. That's was a caption on one of the night sight samples in the Google Photos album they put up.
Yeah, and I think Ron mentioned this on Twitter, but this only deepens my desire for a Google DSLR because this is insane.
Imagine the amount of data DSLR could get, because it's like the sensor is so much bigger, and like it could tell you like, nah, you need to zoom in more for this shot, or like maybe like the automatic ISO and shutter speed would be so much more reliable, especially if it could take multiple exposures. Imagine if your camera is taking multiple exposures every time you take a shot. Your DSLR isn't combining them into a composite.
It would be fun if you could just feed a bunch of DSLR raw files into whatever Google's magic algorithm is and just see what would happen.
Google.
Oh, Ryan, I think the universe would explode.
Yeah, apparently.
Google Lightroom.
Google Lightroom. Somebody needs to make Lightroom better, because
Google Dark Magic Room.
Yeah.
So that's pretty amazing, and you can get it on your Pixel phone. But we're going to switch gears back to Samsung and the Galaxy S10, which is apparently going to introduce two things that are going to make the phone pretty different visually and functionally. So apparently Samsung's going to go with the O notch.
Yeah, that I don't know about that.
I don't know about that either.
It looks pretty pretty weird.
Somehow can like bleed through the notch in some way, which I don't think it can.
Yeah. So yeah, the O notch, it's the hole punch. It's the hole punch through the screen.
This seems to be Samsung basically admitting, JK, we can't do Face ID, so here you go. And they're going to do an ultrasonic fingerprint scanner.
Did the Note 9? Didn't the Note 9 have some kind of face recognition?
Oh yeah, they've added face unlock sort of to all their phones because they have to, but it uses the camera. It's not
okay. Good. So there's still one camera doing it all.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's nothing like secure about it. If you try to open like Samsung Pay or something after you do face unlock, you still have to do your secure unlock method to like prove that you're who you are.
Iris your fingerprint, the secure ones.
I mean, Samsung's iris scanner was like, it was a nice idea, but the angle that you have to hold the phone at is super uncomfortable. Like the field of view of that sensor is so small that it's just not, it's not good to use.
And it sounds like the rumor has been that Samsung's going to can the iris scanner altogether.
Yeah, I would not be surprised. You know what is especially funny is trying to use the Tab S4 with the iris scanner. Oh, and like if you have it in landscape, it says, okay, now hold the tablet in this stupid way so that you're looking at the one side of it so that it can see your eyes.
Oh, geez.
No, it's absolutely terrible. Yeah, they introduced what they called dual scan, or what's the name for the feature?
Intelligence scan,
where actually it just takes a picture of, it just uses the face unlock unless it needs a secure unlock, which is like, it's not, you're just using the regular face unlock and then falling back to the secure method.
Samsung's face unlock is so slow too. It is
very slow. Yeah, everything about what they've done there is not good.
Yeah. I mean, I'm interested in this ultrasonic fingerprint sensor. That could be cool if it's fast. I mean, I've heard like mixed things about that. I think that's the Qualcomm tech, right? The ultrasonic thing.
Historically, yes, it has been. I mean, it's possible it could be somebody else.
Yeah, but I mean, like the optical scanner on the OnePlus 6T is pretty good, but it's small. It would be nice if Samsung was going to do this, if they could have like a larger active area for the sensor with the ultrasonic tech.
I do agree. I think the active area is the really big issue with these on-screen scanners.
Yeah.
And I mean, back at NWC last year when we saw that prototype Vivo phone that had the had the in-display sensor. It was pretty big. It covered like a quarter of the display.
Yeah, and the ones we've seen so far, obviously not that big, probably because the cost is not palatable. So if they can do a bigger area at the ultrasonic scanner, that would be cool. So that's what we kind of know. Oh, triple rear cameras, because of course it's going to have 3 rear cameras. So they're going to add probably the ultra wide angle, I assume.
Yes. I love it when phones have ultra wide. I want Pixel to have ultra wide.
I don't want ultra wide on the Pixel. I want telephoto on the Pixel.
Yes, telephoto is
okay.
If you're gonna have a secondary camera, telephoto is the best one.
I'll accept that.
It's so much more useful.
Yeah, I agree.
And just imagine what Google could do with the second camera. It would be magical.
I know that I keep telling myself I can't talk about yet because like they're not going to be news for like a month, and so I'm like it's really difficult because it's some camera related stuff and it's going to be good. We'll see though.
It's a camera that plugs into the USB-C port on the Pixel.
God damn it, Corbin!
It's like a Game Boy camera, but for your phone. So it also prints out the pictures.
Speaking of things that are anachronistic, Samsung developed another one of their crazy flip phones, the W2019, which their naming scheme is not very ambiguous. And apparently everybody just loves like the kind of gadget porn that is these weirdo flip phones. So they sell these in China and Korea primarily. Like you can tell, like the image, the marketing image they use is of a man with a like a close shaven beard in a burgundy velvet jacket with a nice mechanical watch on. So it's like the target audience is like.
Yeah. I mean, look, this thing is totally impractical and dumb, but I would absolutely use it. I would use this phone.
Oh, God, can you imagine whipping that thing out and be like,
yes. Oh God, it would be so worth it just to like casually use that in a room with people and just like be like, what? It's just my phone. There's nothing weird about this.
Everyone stares at you while you take 10 minutes to type out a text.
So they expected to cost the equivalent of $2,700. Which is like it's just a luxury item. This is a status symbol item for like apparently Samsung's been making these for like 4 years now, and there must be a market. Like there have to be people buying them.
I'm sure that they make money on every single unit.
My understanding is that the reason these are popular in Asia is because Korean and I think Chinese, there's something about the T9 keyboard over there where it works better for Asian languages instead of our language, but I can't remember exactly why.
Yeah, I could get that. Although T9 was pretty fast once we got good at it for English. Like you could get pretty ripping on T9. Granted, it was nowhere near a slider phone, I guess.
I mean, unless you need to type non-dictionary words.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this phone is like it's super bizarre because like it has like when it's closed, it has a fairly big screen on the outside with like nav buttons and everything, and you open it up, there's like another screen on the inside.
Okay, so I just noticed that it has like studded rhinestones on the corners of the phone. What? Like, why?
How about that? It says 11th premium edition on the phone. What does that mean? That is the 11th version of this like weirdo flip phone.
Man, that is wild. So they're probably just putting like Swarovski crystals in this thing.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks to me23 Brown who just subscribed.
Yes, you get one of these phones.
No, don't promise that.
Don't get one, but
they're not going to even give us one of these phones, I'm sure.
Oh, I would do terrible things for Sam.
Yes, this would be fabulous.
So bad.
If you're listening, Samsung.
I'm sure you can buy one like on like
GearBest.
Yeah, for $3,000.
Taobao or something, but yeah. I just wonder who you would sell it back to because you're not honestly
shows up on eBay 2 months later.
We would not be able to make our money back on this thing. I want somebody at Samsung Korea just like smuggle one of these out for me. They're so amazing. I bet there's all kinds of weirdness with the UI too because they're designed for China. Like I bet they're not like other Samsung phones.
Well, they're like the Korean version would probably be like the other Korean software builds.
Yeah, it's not even clear to me they sell these in Korea. They are specifically designed for China. All of the text is in Mandarin.
Oh yeah, I guess it says through China Unicom.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. It looks like the folding mechanism is carbon fiber too. It's so fancy.
This is great.
Yeah.
I love this so much.
It is.
I want someone to make something like this here.
And speaking of things that cost so much they make us laugh, Essential made $150 headphone jack.
Ooh.
Oh man, that's like they're like, hey, let's not put a headphone jack on the phone, but if you want one, $150. No, but this is like the HD audio version. Like you can get there whatever the Type C adapter if you just like want headphones. But this one, like, it connects to the back of the phone through those little power dots on the back, and then communicates through the wireless radio thing with the phone itself. But like, man, they sold all of them. I guess it's sold out now.
Yeah, all 4 of them.
Yeah, I mean they probably didn't have that many. I mean it's like machined out of a block of titanium. It's such a weird thing.
Oh God, imagine feeling this in your pocket. That's so bizarre. I mean, I don't even really know what to say about this because it's just so incredibly ridiculous. Like the LG G5 mod that had the headphone jack on and the separate DAC. Like I could get that because it was still shaped like the phone, and it was like $50 or something like that. It was like, I think it was a normal price, but this is
yeah. They never even released that in the US though because it was ridiculous and nobody wanted it.
So right now, how much could you get an Essential phone for? Like 300 or so?
Yeah, something like that.
Let's check the current Amazon price.
So the beauty is you could buy the phone for pretty cheap, and they're not going to make any more of them. Like they're pretty much done with the phone and supposedly aren't ever making another one. But they now make add-ons for the phones, and they cost a lot.
Yeah, so
that's beautiful.
I just looked up the Essential phone on Amazon, and you can no longer buy it from Amazon. It's only third-party sellers. So like I guess it's out of stock.
Even that like the special Amazon edition with Alexa or whatever.
Yeah, I think yeah.
However, you can buy one on Swappa, mint in box, $225.
Ooh,
wow.
You can buy someone else's regret purchase.
Pretty much. If you want truly like in box, like $250, $270. So yeah, they're pretty cheap.
Now you can still buy a 360-degree camera on Amazon for $40. So you
if
jump
you want
on that.
like a good 360 camera, that's actually not bad. Like even like the phone and the camera together is still competitive. If you want a 4K 360 camera, like that's not bad.
Yeah. I'll be one that whirs up like a jet engine when you attach it.
Yeah. That is a thing. It has a fan. It's ridiculous.
Especially because Samsung's camera only works with Galaxy phones.
Yep.
And iPhones. That's the ridiculous part. I can use it with an iPhone, but not with a non-Samsung Android phone.
Did we point out that it sold out almost immediately?
Yeah.
Like it was crazy fast.
I said they bought all 4.
They had 4.
Yeah. They're all gone. They had 2 for America and 2 for Canada, and they sold out.
It appears the Nest app is back to working again.
Corbin, they made 5. Andy Rubin also has one.
That's true. He had to block out the haters with his.
Do you think Andy
headphones.
Rubin still uses an Essential phone?
Did he ever?
Oh, that's a good question. I want to know. Like,
yeah,
I feel like Andy Rubin may like out of spite use an iPhone at this point. Like,
he's gonna shut down Essential and be like, screw this. I'm gonna make like iPhone cases or something. That's my business.
Titanium iPhone cases.
Oh, geez.
No, and Andy Rubin makes this, and suddenly he has a vision, and he's like, I have to make dongles for the iPhone, and he just makes one of these, but for the iPhone X. I can see that.
Never get Apple certified.
Essential just completely does a 360 and starts making accessories for the iPhone. And then they got bought.
Nest is back online.
That's good. David can get out of his house now.
I can. Anyway, moving on to something that's completely different. Corbin can tell us a little bit about this, but Google announced some changes to basically the way they're approaching web experiences and kind of bridging the divide between native apps and web, which is something that's been going on for years now, but maybe actually it's finally happening.
Yeah, so the past couple years, Google has been leading the charge for progressive web apps and these APIs that make them function more like native apps. Like web apps now can work offline. They can send notifications. Chrome lets you add them to the app drawer, just like normal apps. And Google's been leading a lot of that. But again, all of those things are cross-browser standards that almost everyone else has picked up on. But Google had their Chrome Dev Summit a couple of days ago, I think now. And they talked about how they wanted to basically continue doing that to the point where there would be nothing that a web app couldn't do that a native app could do. So some of the stuff they're working on, which none of this is technically new, we've known about this for a while, but they kind of went over it. They want web apps to be able to be web share targets. So basically, when you open the share menu on Android, web apps could show up as a target alongside other native apps, which is pretty cool. They also talked about adding wake lock support for web apps, so web apps could prevent your device from going to sleep. I'm sure that'd be a permission, not something that's given willy-nilly. They also talked about web apps being able to directly interact with USB and Bluetooth devices. And the big thing that a lot of people we're talking about is the writable file API, which would allow web apps to actually open and modify files directly from your computer. Which currently you can right now you can open files, but you can't save directly to them. Like if you have a web app, they can open and view it, but then they have to download it back, and you'd have to put the file back. So this would make it function more like a native app. And of course, all this stuff that Google is working on, they are cross-browser standards eventually. They're asked when they talk about this, they get developers and other web browser makers like Microsoft and Apple to provide feedback. So hopefully all this stuff will work regardless what browser or platform you use, and the web will just get better for everyone.
I mean, honestly, I'm at the point where I personally prefer, if a company has a good website, I'd rather use that than the app.
Yeah, a lot of apps are just not worth installing. I don't want to have an app on my phone for every service I need to interact with.
Like, I now refuse to have any credit card or banking apps on my phone, and it's apart from Simple, which is only because they don't have a mobile website really. So, you know, any of my credit cards, any of that crap, like the apps are all terrible. They're just web views, and I think that's probably where most of like the commerce stuff is going. Like, I don't want the Amazon app. I don't want the Zappos app. I don't want anything related to shopping having an application space on my phone. I don't want commerce having a place on my phone's memory. That should be something that lives in the web, in my opinion. And I think it provides a better experience usually.
Yeah, and Google's published like a couple different blog posts where they talk about how beneficial upgrading to progressive web apps are, and they've talked about time after time where companies will seriously invest in making their sites more responsive and work offline and use some more advanced features, and their mobile browser usage will go through the roof because suddenly it's not like this terrible experience that makes their phone lag when they try to open it. I think one example they said recently was from Pinterest. Like Pinterest completely redid their mobile site, and now they're getting more signups through mobile than any other platform or through the mobile web. But yeah, and the nice thing about this that I really like is they're adding these features, but they're adding them in a permissions model that just isn't present with normal desktop apps. Like when I install a Windows app, it can instantly access like my cameras, my microphones, all my storage, that kind of thing. But with web apps, all these are being built in a way where these apps have to ask permission for everything. Yeah. So it's a lot more secure. And I feel a lot better using web apps versus installing a native app for something.
Well, I mean, on Windows, Microsoft, I think, has mostly put the genie. I have to admit, Microsoft did manage to put the genie back in the bottle because Windows now has extremely aggressive network access permissions. So anytime anything wants to access a network, Windows like, hey, I'm going to pop up and be super annoying. Like in this app, talk to the interwebs. I think that's been pretty successful for them. I think on a mobile operating system, though, the expectation is that everything can access the web, which is why Google got rid of the internet permission. Like, it's not something that you need to really consider. So I think on Android, yeah, I've been personally conditioned into just pressing accept on everything because I don't want to go through 5 different permissions, because the app should just work the way it should and, respect my privacy. Whereas on the web, if something uses your camera, you're like, oh, wait, why is this using my camera?
Yeah.
It's totally.
Yeah. So Jax asked in the Twitch chat, do most e-com sites have legit progressive web apps? I'm not aware of any. I know a lot of them have service workers and that kind of thing that allows them to store parts of the site offline or cache them locally so they load faster. I haven't used any online stores that are actually like full-blown PWAs that you can add to your home screen. Yeah, I can't think of, but I only really use like Amazon on my phone for the most part. So yeah, but it's exciting. And the nice thing about this is that because it runs on the web, it's operating system agnostic. So, if someone decided to make a Android or iOS competitor, they would instantly have a good amount of apps. Like I remember when I was trying, I bought a Firefox OS phone, which was not a good financial decision a couple years ago. But I bought it and I tried to use it for like 2 days and I gave up because there was just no apps. There was no, there was no Twitter app. It was just the Twitter mobile site. And at that point that was really bad. But now there's a full-blown Twitter progressive web app that is almost functionally identical to the native app. So it's exciting. I'm excited about this. Very excited.
It's good that somebody is.
Yes. Yeah. Speaking of things that are exciting to some people, the Nokia 7.1.
No, but first we have to shill for Twitch again. So,
oh yeah,
you're just not joining us in the show. Which why did you join in right here, weirdo? You should subscribe to us on Twitch. If you're an Amazon Prime subscriber, you get one free Twitch subscription every month, and by subscribing to us on Twitch, you help support the channel. We promise it's really easy. You just have to link your Amazon account to Twitch, which doesn't ask for any weird permissions or anything. Like, Twitch isn't going to see your credit card. And you just subscribe to the channel on Twitch. We'll give you a shout out on the show. If you are a listener and are not listening to us live, we'll give you a shout out if you just email us. Tell us you subscribed. We want to hear about it, and we'll give you a big thank you in the next episode of the show. So again, go to twitch.com/ or twitch.tv/Android Police. I guess either or works at this point. And subscribe to us. We'd really appreciate it, and you'll help support the show. And now back to reviews.
Yes, the Nokia 7.1, as we just mentioned. It's a phone, and you can buy it. I don't know if you should right now, though. So here's the deal. At $350, it's nicer than Nokia's cheap phones, or at least it should be on paper. It has a Snapdragon 636. It has a little bit more RAM. The design is nicer. I mean, as long as you don't mind a glass phone, like it's a very attractive device. It's got the chamfered edges that Nokia does on a lot of its phones, and the glass panel like curves at the edge, and it's a very comfortable phone to hold. There's a big notch. Well, he's kind of big, and then like a real big chin at the bottom. I'm not a big fan of that personally. Some people don't really mind it. However, I feel like Nokia was expecting to have a version of Pi ready for this phone at launch, because the Oreo build that it comes with is not very good. It is poorly optimized. The phone feels laggy and weird. Like waking it up with the fingerprint sensor sometimes takes like a second or 2 seconds. And like animations get kind of stuttery at weird times. The LCD panel also has like uneven lighting at the edges. It's not the sort of thing that'll bother everybody. It bothers me. But I mean, I guess a lot of people might not care so much. I feel like for $350, I wanted this phone to be better than it is. I mean, I would probably just buy a 6.1, instead of this right now. I think they said that the Pi update was already supposed to be here, but I don't think it is. I just turned mine on for the first time since I posted the review earlier this week, and I don't see an update yet, so I assume it's still not available, which is a little suspicious.
That's a bummer. So I know Nokia said their promise was by December. So hopefully soon.
Yeah, I mean, so when they roll out the Pi update, I mean, maybe when they do that, I'll circle back and reevaluate. But if they can fix some of the issues with the phone in Pi, then it might be worth buying. I think for right now, you do well to just like hold off on it. I mean, unless you're willing to trust that Nokia will do this right.
Yeah. One other review we had this week, Ryan wrote it. He's not here to join us. I can kind of summarize. It's the Acer Chromebook Spin 13, which is really modernly the most powerful Chromebook anybody's built so far. So it has a U series Intel chip in it, and you can get all the way up to a quad-core i5. So that's pretty powerful. I believe the quad-core i5 has hyper-threading too, so it's an 8-thread processor. So this is a pretty fast Chromebook. By any measure, really, and at $1,000 for that i5 version with a 16 gigabytes of RAM, I'd argue that's actually a pretty decent price. Like people said, it seems too expensive. I think that's pretty fair.
It does have hyper-threading, Intel says, so you get 8 threads.
Man, that's maybe kind of overkill for Chrome OS.
Yeah, I don't know. I think 8 threads is fine.
I mean, if you're gonna throw Android Studio on there,
yeah, definitely. I think
be helpful.
So I think that really is, honestly, so Acer has positioned this as being like a Wacom forward device for designers and stuff, but Chrome OS for designers blows. Like this is not, you're not doing any pro level design work on a Chromebook. Sorry. Like this is looking like 2 to 3 years too far out ahead in the future, as far as positioning goes. But if you are a programmer and you want an Android Chromebook that you can do development on, this is the most powerful option you have right now. Even the Pixelbook with its i7 is still a dual core with hyper-threading, so you're getting half as many threads, and you do get the full 16. I think the i7 Pixelbook has 16 gigs of RAM.
It does.
I believe so. Yeah.
It's also crazy expensive, way more than you should pay. But so the thing about this is basically I would come down to this on this device. It is a fan. It is a fan processor. And according to Ryan, unsurprisingly, it is noisy. So it ramps up and down just like any Intel chip will do without a good fan curve algorithm. And it's just, I couldn't handle that on a Chromebook. Chromebooks being fanless is one of their very best attributes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like you can just sort of like sit a Chromebook on your lap and not have to worry about like blocking airflow. It's just much better.
Or the Chromebook heating up to the point where like it's scalding your legs.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks to BDR9999 who just subscribed to the channel. Thank you for subscribing. I hope you enjoyed your notch animation if you're watching the video. Back to the Spin 13. Overall, the design looks a little weird. It doesn't fold down slim enough to be really a good tablet on its own when it's folded all the way back, even though it is a full convertible. It just looks chunky. It looks like a first gen Ultrabook, really, if you're asking me. It's too thick. It's too bulky. It has an old school power supply. It is USB-C, but it's like it's got a big, huge brick like in the middle.
Yeah, that's what the power for my Lenovo Flip looks like. It's here. Look,
so you can plug in like another like just any USB power delivery charger, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure what the wattage on that brick is because it is a big brick.
That's super weird. Like it has that whole the brick like an older computer, but like the cable that plugs into the brick is Type C at the other end. So it's like the brick at the other end has the Type C, but you still plug the power cable.
Maybe it's like a 70 or 80 watt brick. I don't know. With these U series processors, they're 15 watt TDP, so they can drink down a fair bit of power.
Yeah. So here's the 65 watt brick for my Lenovo Flip, which has a Type C at the end. So
that's just okay. So they're probably using a generic power brick design, and that just saves them money. So okay, all right. So the first thing I would do with this Chromebook is replace the power supply because that's absolutely ridiculous. I would say otherwise, Ryan said the build quality is very typically Acer. It feels premium and yet somehow cheap. And I think that's exactly what I would expect of an Acer laptop, unfortunately. I think that overall, I wouldn't recommend this to somebody. I just can't. I can't see why. Even with it being probably the best performance bang for buck on a Chromebook right now, I would wait. I would wait and see what else comes out, because I think there are going to be this coming year more and better Chromebooks. This is an interesting one. I just think Acer didn't really hit the nail on the head in terms of this would be a good design if it didn't have, maybe if you took off $100 and switched to like a, just non-Wacom touch panel, and I don't know, increase the storage, because 128 gigabytes max for something that's supposed to be a productivity machine. Chrome OS can use a lot of local storage if you're doing local storage intensive stuff. Like it's not like the old days where Chrome OS was 100% on the web. You can store some data. So I think that's a bit of a bummer.
Yeah.
And I think it's 3.7 pounds. This thing is hefty.
Yeah, I do think it is slightly ridiculous now that these $500, $600 Chromebooks are only shipping with 64 or 128 gigs of storage, especially because SSD prices have plummeted in the past year. Like you can get like a terabyte of M.2 storage for like $150 now or lower. So these really should be shipping with 128 gig or 256 gig minimum, I think. Especially because you can't store Android apps on a micro SD card yet, or store data for them. Yeah, it's a little silly, I think.
Yeah, so I don't think I can recommend this Chromebook to almost anybody unless you really just want the most powerful Chromebook you can buy right now. That's the only reason to get it, and I don't think it's a bad value on that basis. I just think that it's, if you wait 6 to 8 months, you'll probably be like, oh, I wish I didn't buy it, because there's going to be something better. And moving on to something you absolutely should not buy under any circumstance.
Yeah.
Ryan has used the Palm phone for some period of time, and his conclusions are inescapable, it seems.
Yeah. So the Palm phone, in case you're not aware, it is a companion phone that you buy from Verizon. It shares your phone number with your other phone. And their pitch is you take this with you when you're like going out and you don't want to be distracted by a phone that's actually useful. So you bring this tiny little itty bitty baby phone. It has a 3.3-inch screen, which is the smallest of any Android phone in years, at least that I'm aware of. It's almost unusable at times because Android has just outgrown having such a small display. Apps have like things cut off in weird ways. And like typing on it is an absolute nightmare. Somebody brought up the Jelly Pro in the chat room. Yes, that is another phone that is in the same size range, but that phone is cheap. The phone's like $99.
Yeah, and it works on any carrier.
Yeah, it's unlocked.
Yeah. So funny story. When we were writing the announcement post for the Verizon phone, I wrote it and I mentioned that you could get 3 or 4 Jelly Pros for the price of one Palm phone, and then Ryan responded in the chat. He was like, "Wait, they're that cheap now?" And he went and bought one.
Yeah. Ryan does like the cheap little phones. But this, $350 for this, and then you're paying another $10 a month to connect it to your Verizon number. It's just it's silly. And there's a SIM card slot on the side, but it's sealed. Like you can't pop the SIM card out, so there's no way to just like put in a different SIM card. It's like Verizon is like, nope, this is a companion phone. That is it. And it's just unfortunate. But you know what? It is adorable. I will definitely give TCL that one. It is a cute little phone. Everybody I've shown it to, they just like smile and they hold it and they're just like, this is so cool. Like, yeah, it is, but it's really terrible to use. Like that's the thing is like, it's like, I feel like somebody pitched this idea in like a meeting and everybody's like, great, we'll get people to pay another $10 a month and buy this overpriced little phone. It's great. And then nobody stopped to think if it was actually a good idea because it's so not. Like the original pitch has driven this product from inception to release, and it's just not a good idea. If you're going to take this phone when you're going out someplace, presumably to some sort of social gathering, people take pictures at those, right? Like people use their phones to take pictures. This phone has an atrocious camera. It's probably the worst I have used on a phone in years. And it costs $350. That's the same price as the Nokia 7.1, by the way, which has a pretty good camera. I don't know why wouldn't you should just spend this money on any unlocked phone that works on Verizon if you don't want to like take out your nice phone or something. Like just buy some other phone for less and it'll still be more functional. It's crazy.
Now you have to keep in mind that if you take the pictures on the Palm phone and you only look at them on the Palm phone, they probably look fine, right?
I mean, the screen actually does look pretty nice because it's 720p at at 3.3 inches. It's it's sharp.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm hoping that in 8 months this shows up on like Woot as an unlocked phone for $100.
Yeah, that would be nice. Like it's just so cute and little.
I mean,
I like holding it. It makes me feel like a giant.
If Ryan was here, he'd echo your love for tiny phones.
No, I don't have a problem with. So my issue, I think the concept is just fundamentally flawed. So the analogy I'd come up with, it's like, all right, everybody's smoking cigarettes. Everybody needs to smoke less. How do we get people to smoke fewer cigarettes? Well, what if we came up with a really tiny cigarette that only has like half the nicotine and we sell them in 3-packs instead? I think that's the ticket, guys. And it's like, no, you're missing the point here. I think the point is if your point is that people are too connected and not able to disconnect from their phones, giving them a smaller, worse phone is not the answer. That's just going to make them more unhappy. Like, there's nothing about this phone that's going to be like, oh, I'm so glad I have this stupid little tiny phone that's bad at everything.
Yeah, it occurred to me like after if I'm going out, if I'm going to have a few drinks, it gets kind of hard to use a regular phone eventually, right? Like my ability to type on a phone that is a normal size decreases rapidly. I can barely type on this thing when I'm sober. Like I would be unable to use this phone after I got a little tipsy. It would be completely useless to me.
It's the idea that like, oh, it's the same thing like, oh, we need to reduce carbon emissions in cars. What if we made cars really slow and horrible to drive? That would
just replace all cars with smart cars.
And so no, it is really the exact same concept. Like, how stupid does that sound when you think about it, right? And it's the same concept. What if we built a phone that was worse in every conceivable way from every other phone? And that's what TCL did. And the idea, they just kind of latched on to this idea of, people wanting to disconnect, which is having a cultural moment, I think. Like for the last probably year or so, maybe a little longer, this has been a narrative that people feel too connected to their phones. They want to be a little bit more removed from them. I think this is the exact wrong approach. I think TCL should release a retro beeper. I think
frankly that would make so much more sense. Like making this like a full-fledged Android phone is silly.
Give me a Palm Pixie 2, please.
Hey, thanks to Maple Leaf 160 who just subscribed to the channel.
Yes.
Yeah. I bet the Palm Pixie is like a very similar size to this phone.
Yeah. They could have just reused the shell. Come on, TCL.
Yeah, the more I think about it, the more indefensible this product becomes. Yeah. It's just like, I look at Ryan's picture, the last one in the review, and I'm like, oh, it's so tiny. Look at it on that keyboard. Itty bitty. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to use that. I want to like play with it for like 3 seconds and be like, oh, it's cool. All right, bye. I never want to use it again. But it's just, I feel like very much the marketing narrative was what was developed before the product. The marketing narrative was, we need a product that appeals to the mindset that people want to disconnect. They want to have their hands away from their phones. How do we do that? And somebody's like, what if we make this phone and it's like itty bitty? And, and they're like, it's genius. All right.
We'll get people to use their phones less by selling them a second phone. Perfect.
Verizon's like, where do I sign?
Yeah, exactly. Verizon's like, wait, we can charge people more money every month for this, and it's expensive? That's perfect.
No, I think you drink too much. Have you tried using a smaller flask? The analogies are endless.
And Verizon is so excited to sell you cases for this. Like in the announcement post, they had like 10 pictures of like the little carrying bags you could get for your Palm phone.
Yeah, they sent a little slipcase that has like a wrist strap on it.
Yeah,
it's like, okay, that's nice, I guess.
They had a toss over bag for it. They had an armband. They had a couple other cases for it, but it's very silly.
What they really need is a belt clip and a special mode for the phone where it will display like a scrolling message, kind of like that GIF pin that Ron has.
That would
Yeah.
actually, I could get behind that.
Yeah,
No, you know
Oh
what?
my god.
If this phone was unlocked and cost like $100, I would maybe buy one just because it's adorable and kind of.
Oh,
fun.
I would.
What
I would absolutely do that.
What it needs is a custom pack of Marlboros, and you slide your phone into the cigarette carton,
Oh,
and
geez.
every hour you don't use the phone, it dispenses a cigarette. This is, I think that really truly describes, perfectly encapsulates the mission of the Palm phone.
No, wait. You know what accessory Verizon needs to do is so Bethesda just released Fallout 76. So what they should do is make a Pip-Boy little case you can put the Palm phone in.
Oh shit!
and
This
wear
would
it
make
on
a
your
very
arm.
good Pip-Boy screen.
Yeah, it would. They make a great Pip-Boy screen. Just
Yeah.
make it green, make it flicker a little bit. Boom.
Yeah. All right. So I believe that will conclude this week's show. Once again, if you like the show, subscribe to us on Twitch. It's free for you if you're an Amazon Prime subscriber, and it actually gives us money, which helps us do the show. So we do appreciate it. And thank you for listening, everybody. And we will be back next week.
Good night, everybody.